The Heroine's Journey, Conquering Hormonal Chaos, a woman's saga of transformation prologue, the hidden battle within in the quiet moments between heartbeats, within the intricate pathways of blood and nerve, a silent war wages inside millions of women. It's a battle fought not with swords or shields, but with chemical messengers gone awry, with hormones that have forgotten their ancient dance. This is the story of every woman who has ever felt her body betray her, who has looked in the mirror and wondered where she went, who has summoned courage from depths she didn't know existed to reclaim her health and her life. This is the Heroine's Journey through Hormonal Chaos, a saga as epic as any mythological quest, as transformative as any legendary adventure. For what greater dragon is there to slay than the one that lives within our own biology? What more treacherous path exists than navigating a medical system that often dismisses women's pain? What victory could be sweeter than rediscovering yourself after feeling lost in your own body? Today, we follow this journey from beginning to end, witnessing how an ordinary woman becomes extraordinary through her quest for hormonal balance and wellness. This is not just a medical story, it's a tale of courage, wisdom, transformation, and the triumphant return to wholeness. Chapter 1. The Ordinary World, Life in Perfect Ignorance. Our heroine begins her story in the ordinary world of assumed health. She wakes each morning with energy coursing through her veins, her mind sharp as a blade, her emotions steady as a mountain lake. She navigates her days with confidence, career challenges met with enthusiasm, relationships nurtured with patience and joy, dreams pursued with unwavering determination. This is the time of taking the body for granted when hormones perform their intricate ballet behind the scenes without conscious awareness. Estrogen and progesterone dance in perfect rhythm through monthly cycles. Thyroid hormones maintain the metabolic fires that fuel daily activities. Cortisol rises and falls in healthy patterns, providing energy when needed and rest when deserved. Insulin responds appropriately to meals, keeping blood sugar in harmonious balance. In this ordinary world, our heroine defines herself by her achievements, her relationships, her goals and aspirations. She is the successful professional who never misses a deadline, the devoted mother who has energy for bedtime stories after long days, the passionate partner who brings enthusiasm to intimate moments, the friend who can be counted on for support. And adventure. She may notice small changes, a little more fatigue after particularly stressful weeks, perhaps some irritability before her period, maybe a slight decrease in her usual boundless energy. But these seem like normal responses to life's demands, nothing that a good night's sleep or a relaxing weekend can't fix. She's heard other women complain about hormonal issues, but she feels fortunate to be different, stronger, more resilient. Yet, beneath this surface of wellness, something shifts in the shadows. Hormonal balance, like all things in nature, exists in a delicate equilibrium that can be disrupted by stress, age, environmental factors, or genetic predispositions. The ordinary world of perfect health is more fragile than it appears, and change approaches like storm clouds gathering on a distant horizon. Chapter 2. The Call to Adventure. When the body speaks, the call to adventure in our heroine's hormonal journey arrives not as a dramatic summons, but as a whisper that gradually becomes impossible to ignore. It might begin with mornings when she wakes feeling like she hasn't slept at all, despite 8 hours in bed. Perhaps her usually sharp mind begins to feel foggy, words eluding her in important meetings, names of familiar colleagues slipping away like water through fingers. The call might manifest as emotions that seem disproportionate to their trigger's tears. Over a commercial that wouldn't have affected her before, rage at minor inconveniences that once rolled off her back like rain. Her body might start betraying her in small ways. Weight gaining despite unchanged eating habits. Skin that suddenly seems older. Hair that falls out in alarming quantities in the shower drain. For some heroines, the call comes as disrupted sleep lying. Awake at 3 a.m. with a racing mind despite an exhausted body. Or jolting awake drenched in sweat from hormonal night sweats that leave sheets soaked and sleep shattered. Others find their call in the mirror, seeing a reflection that somehow doesn't match their internal sense of self, noticing changes that seem to have happened overnight but likely occurred gradually over months. The most insidious form of the call is the gradual erosion of vitality. Energy that once felt limitless begins to ebb away. Libido, once a source of pleasure and connection, diminishes or disappears entirely. The spark that made life feel vibrant starts to dim, leaving our heroine wondering if this is simply what aging feels like, or if something more significant is happening. Initially, she may dismiss these signs, attributing them to stress, lack of sleep, or normal aging. Women are taught to minimize their symptoms, to push through discomfort, to prioritize everyone else's needs above their own. But the call to adventure and hormonal health is persistent. These symptoms don't resolve with rest or stress reduction. They intensify, multiply, and begin to significantly impact quality of life. The moment of true recognition arrives when our heroine realizes that the woman she used to be seems to have vanished, replaced by someone who looks the same but feels fundamentally different. This is her call to adventure, the recognition that something must be done, that accepting this diminished existence is no longer an option. Chapter 3. Refusal of the call. The temptation to suffer in silence, the refusal of the call in Hormonal. Health often takes the form of rationalization and minimization. Our heroine tells herself that what she's experiencing is normal, that all women her age feel this way, that fatigue and mood swings are just part of being female, that she should be grateful for her health compared to others who have real problems. She might attempt to push through her symptoms with sheer willpower, drinking more coffee to combat fatigue, working harder to compensate for decreased mental clarity, smiling through mood swings to maintain her image as someone who has it all together. The refusal manifests as the internalized voice that says she's being dramatic, that she should be stronger, and that seeking help for these minor issues is weakness or self-indulgence. Fear plays a significant role in this refusal. Fear of being dismissed by medical professionals who might tell her that her symptoms are all in her head. Fear of discovering something seriously wrong with her health. Fear of the unknown territory of hormone testing, treatments, and lifestyle changes that might be required. Fear of being seen as someone who can't handle the normal challenges of womanhood. There's also the fear of inconveniencing others. Women are conditioned to be caregivers, to put everyone else's needs first. Seeking help for hormonal issues means admitting that she might not be able to maintain her usual level of care for family, friends, and professional responsibilities. It means potentially needing support rather than always being the one who provides it. The refusal period can last months or even years, during which symptoms typically worsen. Our heroine becomes increasingly skilled at hiding her struggles, wearing a mask of competence while internally feeling like she's drowning. She researches symptoms online in private moments, alternately convinced she's dying of some terrible disease or that she's simply weak and complaining. But the hero's journey cannot be derailed by refusal. It can only be delayed. The symptoms that serve as the call to adventure persist and intensify until ignoring them becomes impossible. Eventually, something happens that makes continuing to refuse the call more painful than accepting it. Perhaps a family member expresses concern about the changes they've noticed. Maybe a close friend shares her own hormone journey, providing a mirror for recognition. Or simply, the cumulative weight of feeling unlike herself becomes unbearable. Chapter 4. Meeting the Mentor. Finding the Guide. Every hero needs a mentor, and in the hormonal health journey, this guide often appears in unexpected forms. Sometimes, it's a healthcare provider who truly listens, a doctor who doesn't brush off symptoms or suggest they're psychological, who instead recognizes the complex interplay of hormones and takes the heroine's concerns seriously. This medical mentor provides not just clinical knowledge, but validation that the heroine's experience is real and deserves attention. The mentor might be a naturopathic doctor who views health holistically, understanding that hormones don't exist in isolation but are influenced by stress, nutrition, sleep, and emotional well-being. They offer a different perspective than conventional medicine, sometimes providing answers when traditional approaches have failed. Often the most powerful. Mentors are other women who have walked this path before. A friend who shares her own hormone replacement therapy success story. A colleague who recommends a life-changing book about hormonal health, or an online community of women supporting each other through similar journeys. These peer mentors provide something medical professionals often cannot: the deep understanding that comes from lived experience.
This phase often involves a period of increasing symptoms before improvement, what healers sometimes call a healing crisis. As her body begins to rebalance, old patterns may intensify before they resolve. Sleep may worsen before it improves. Emotions may feel more intense as suppressed feelings surface for processing. Energy may fluctuate dramatically as her system recalibrates. The approach to the inmost cave requires faith in the process when evidence of progress is not yet visible. It demands patience when quick fixes prove inadequate. Most challenging of all, it requires her to trust that she deserves the time, energy, and resources necessary for deep healing, even when others may not understand or support this priority. Chapter 8. The Ordeal. The Dark Night of Hormonal Healing. The ordeal represents the darkest moment in our heroine's journey, when the challenges of hormonal healing seem overwhelming and the path forward unclear. This is the phase where treatments may not be working as expected, where symptoms might be worse than when she started, where doubt creeps in about whether recovery is truly possible. For many women, the ordeal occurs during the adjustment period of hormone replacement therapy. The body may rebel against bioidentical hormones, with unexpected side effects, mood swings more severe than before treatment, sleep disruption that reaches new depths, or physical symptoms that seem unrelated to hormonal issues but arise as the system attempts to find new balance. The ordeal might manifest as the discovery that the root cause of hormonal disruption goes deeper than initially understood. What seemed like a straightforward case of perimenopause reveals itself as complex autoimmune dysfunction affecting multiple body systems. What appeared to be simple thyroid insufficiency uncovers a web of nutritional deficiencies, chronic infections, and genetic factors that complicate treatment significantly. During this phase, our heroine may face the reality that healing requires changes she's not sure she can make. Perhaps optimal hormone balance demands a career change to reduce chronic stress, but financial obligations make this seem impossible. Maybe recovery requires addressing a toxic relationship, but fear of being alone feels more frightening than continuing to suffer. The medical system itself may become part of the ordeal. Insurance companies deny coverage for treatments that could help. Healthcare providers disagree about the best approach, leaving her to navigate conflicting medical opinions. Test results come back inconclusive or contradictory, leaving more questions than answers. Emotionally, the ordeal may involve a profound sense of grief for the woman she used to be. The energy, mental clarity, and emotional stability of her pre-symptom self may feel gone forever. She grieves not just for past health but for lost time, months or years spent struggling, when she could have been living fully if the problem had been identified and treated sooner. Family and friends may grow weary of her health focus, suggesting she's becoming obsessed or that she should just accept feeling less than optimal. Comments like "everyone gets tired as they age" or "you look fine to me" invalidate her experience and increase isolation during an already difficult time. The ordeal tests every ounce of her resolve. It's the moment when giving up seems like a reasonable option, when the effort required for healing feels greater than the potential rewards. Many heroines describe this phase as feeling like they're losing their minds, questioning their sanity, wondering if they're imagining the severity of their symptoms. But the ordeal, like all dark nights of the soul, contains within it the seeds of transformation. It strips away everything that's not essential, revealing the bedrock of her commitment to herself and her healing. It teaches her that she's stronger than she knew, more resilient than she imagined, more deserving of health and vitality than she previously believed. Chapter 9: The Reward, Breakthrough, and Transformation. The reward phase marks the turning point in our heroine's journey, when the persistent effort, courage, and commitment to healing finally begin to bear fruit. This breakthrough doesn't always come as a dramatic moment of complete recovery, but often as a gradual recognition that something fundamental has shifted. The first reward might be a morning when she wakes feeling truly rested for the first time in months or years. Sleep, that elusive healer, finally returns to its natural rhythm. She sleeps deeply through the night and awakens with energy rather than exhaustion, with clarity rather than brain fog. This single night of quality rest provides a glimpse of what optimal health feels like and renewed hope for continued improvement. Another early reward may be emotional stability, returning like a dear friend who's been absent too long. The mood swings that made her feel like a stranger to herself begin to level out. Irritability that seemed to arise from nowhere starts to fade. The overwhelming sadness or anxiety that colored her days lifts, revealing the optimistic, capable woman who was always there beneath the hormonal chaos. Cognitive function improvement often provides one of the most celebrated rewards. Words that had become elusive return to easy access. Memory sharpens, allowing her to remember names, appointments, and important details without the constant fear of forgetting something crucial. Mental energy that had been depleted returns, enabling focus and productivity that had seemed impossible during the worst of her symptoms. Physical changes mark significant rewards in the journey. Energy that had felt permanently depleted begins to return, not in overwhelming rushes but in sustainable, steady improvement. She finds herself able to exercise again, to engage in activities she had abandoned, to feel strength returning to her body. Weight that had been resistant to all efforts may finally begin to respond to healthy eating and movement. The most profound reward is often the return of her sense of self. The woman who had felt lost in hormonal chaos begins to re-emerge, but she's not identical to who she was before. She's wiser, more attuned to her body's needs, more skilled at setting boundaries, more committed to self-care as a non-negotiable priority rather than a luxury. Relationships may improve as her mood stabilizes and energy returns. Partners, children, and friends get back the woman they missed, but she brings new wisdom about her limits and needs that actually strengthens these connections. She's learned to communicate about her health needs clearly and to ask for support when necessary. Professionally, cognitive clarity and renewed energy may lead to improved performance, new opportunities, or the confidence to make career changes that better support her overall well-being. Some heroines discover that their health journey has given them passion for helping other women navigate similar challenges, leading to career pivots toward health coaching, nutrition, or healthcare advocacy. The reward phase also includes newfound appreciation for the interconnectedness of health factors. She understands viscerally how sleep affects mood, how stress impacts hormone production, how nutrition influences energy levels. This systems thinking approach to health becomes a lifelong asset, helping her maintain the gains she's made. Perhaps most importantly, she discovers that she deserves to feel good, that accepting suboptimal health was never necessary, that advocating for herself was not selfish but essential. This internal shift in self-worth and self-advocacy becomes a reward that extends far beyond hormonal health into every area of her life. Chapter 10: The Road Back, Integrating New Wisdom. The road back represents the phase where our heroine begins to integrate her hard-won wisdom about hormonal health into sustainable, long-term lifestyle practices. Having experienced the breakthrough of symptom improvement, she now faces the ongoing challenge of maintaining these gains while returning to the demands and responsibilities of daily life. This phase requires developing new skills and balance and boundaries. She's learned that her health cannot be taken for granted, that maintaining hormonal balance requires ongoing attention to sleep, stress management, nutrition, and self-care practices. The challenge is implementing these needs within the context of work deadlines, family responsibilities, and social obligations that haven't changed. The road back involves becoming her own health advocate in ongoing ways. She learns to monitor her symptoms as early warning signals, recognizing when stress is building to levels that might disrupt her hormonal balance before a full crisis develops. She becomes skilled at adjusting her self-care practices based on life circumstances, increasing stress management during busy periods, prioritizing sleep during challenging times, and maintaining nutritional choices that support her well-being. Relationships require renegotiation during this phase. Family members and friends must adjust to her new boundaries around health priorities. Some may struggle to understand why she can't return to her previous pattern of endless availability and self-sacrifice. Others may need education about hormonal health to understand why certain accommodations are necessary for her well-being. The road back includes developing resilience for setbacks. Hormonal health is rarely a straight line of improvement, and our heroine learns to navigate the inevitable fluctuations without panic or despair. She develops strategies for managing symptom flares during stressful periods, illness, or major life changes. Understanding that temporary setbacks don't negate her overall progress. Professional life may require modifications as well. She might need to implement better work-life boundaries, refuse overtime that would compromise her sleep, or negotiate workplace accommodations that support her health needs. Some heroines discover that their previous work environment was incompatible with optimal health and make career changes that better align with their well-being priorities. The road back involves sharing her knowledge and experience with other women. Having walked this path, she becomes a mentor figure for others just beginning their hormone health journey. She might share her story in support groups, recommend resources that were helpful, or simply offer validation and encouragement to women struggling with similar symptoms. Financial planning becomes part of the road back, as she budgets for ongoing healthcare costs, supplements, and lifestyle modifications that support her health. She learns to view these expenses as investments in her long-term well-being rather than burdens. Understanding that the cost of maintaining health is far less than the cost of crisis management. This phase also involves developing gratitude practices that acknowledge how far she's come. Regular reflection on her progress helps maintain perspective during challenging days and reinforces her commitment to continued self-care. She learns to celebrate small victories and improvements rather than focusing only on remaining challenges. The road back is characterized by growing confidence in her ability to manage her health proactively rather than reactively. She trusts her understanding of her body's needs and her ability to make choices that support her well-being, even when others don't understand or approve of these priorities. Chapter 11. Resurrection. The new self emerges. The resurrection represents the profound transformation that occurs when our heroine fully integrates her hormonal health journey into a new way of being in the world. This is not simply a return to her pre-symptom self, but the emergence of a woman who has been fundamentally changed by her journey through hormonal chaos and back to balance. The resurrected heroine embodies a new relationship with her body, where once she may have ignored physical signals or pushed through symptoms, she now listens with respect and responds with care. Her body has become a trusted ally rather than an unpredictable adversary. She understands its language of fatigue, stress signals, and nutritional needs, responding proactively rather than reactively. This new self demonstrates unprecedented skill in self-advocacy. Having learned to navigate complex medical systems, research treatment options, and communicate effectively with healthcare providers, she approaches all of life with greater confidence in her ability to identify and pursue what she needs. This skill extends beyond health into relationships, career decisions, and personal goals. The resurrection includes a transformed understanding of self-care. What once felt selfish or indulgent is now recognized as essential maintenance for optimal functioning. She schedules rest, prioritizes sleep, chooses nourishing foods, and engages in stress-reducing activities, not as rewards for good behavior, but as foundational practices for sustainable well-being. Emotionally, the resurrected heroine displays remarkable resilience. Having survived the ordeal of hormonal chaos, she has expanded her capacity to handle life's challenges. She's learned that difficult periods are temporary, that her ability to cope is greater than she previously knew, and that seeking help is a sign of wisdom rather than weakness. Her relationships reflect this inner transformation. She attracts and maintains connections with people who respect her boundaries and support her well-being. She's learned to recognize and address dynamics that drain her energy or compromise her health. The quality of her relationships improves as she brings her authentic, healthy self to interactions rather than the depleted, struggling version she was during her symptoms. Professionally, The resurrection may manifest as increased creativity, productivity, and leadership capability. With cognitive function restored and energy available, she may pursue opportunities that seemed impossible during her health crisis. Some heroines discover new career paths inspired by their health journey, becoming advocates, educators, or practitioners. Focused on women's hormonal health, the resurrected self demonstrates integration of mind, body, and spirit that may not have existed before her health crisis. She understands viscerally how thoughts affect physical health, how physical well-being influences emotional state, and how spiritual practices support overall balance. This holistic understanding guides her daily choices and long-term planning. Perhaps most significantly, the resurrection includes a transformed sense of her own worth and deserving. She no longer questions whether she merits the time, energy, and resources required for optimal health. She understands that caring for herself enables her to better care for others, that her well-being contributes to the well-being of everyone in her life. The resurrected heroine becomes a beacon of possibility for other women struggling with hormonal health issues. Her very existence as a transformed, thriving woman provides hope and evidence that recovery is possible, that the journey through hormonal chaos can lead to a life better than what existed before the crisis began. Chapter 12. Return with the elixir, sharing the gift of healing. The final stage of our heroine's journey involves returning to her community with the elixir of knowledge, wisdom, and hope gained through her transformative experience with hormonal healing. This return is not about going back to her old life, but about bringing her new understanding and capabilities to benefit others who may be struggling with similar challenges. The elixir she carries takes many forms. Most fundamentally, it's the knowledge that hormonal health issues are real, treatable, and worthy of serious medical attention. She returns with the understanding that women don't have to accept feeling awful as a normal part of aging or womanhood, that optimal health is possible at any stage of life with proper support and treatment. Her elixir includes practical knowledge about navigating the healthcare system effectively. She knows which questions to ask healthcare providers, how to advocate for comprehensive testing, what red flags to watch for in treatment approaches. She understands the importance of finding providers who take women's hormonal health seriously and can guide other women toward appropriate care. The wisdom she brings back encompasses the intricate connections between lifestyle factors and hormonal balance. She understands how stress management, sleep optimization, nutritional choices, and movement practices all contribute to hormonal health. This system's approach to wellness becomes a gift she can share with others seeking to improve their health proactively. Her return with the elixir manifests in various ways. Some heroines become formal mentors, joining support groups or online communities where they guide women just beginning their hormonal health journeys. They share their stories, offer resources, and provide the validation and hope that can be crucial during the darkest phases of symptoms. Others express their elixir through advocacy and education. They may write blogs, create social media content, or speak publicly about women's hormonal health issues, working to raise awareness and reduce the stigma around seeking treatment. Some become involved in policy advocacy, working to improve insurance coverage for hormonal treatments or increase medical education about women's health issues. If you're enjoying this video, please make it reach more women by subscribing and liking. Take a look at the links in the description. There are always wonderful surprises for you. * Professional expression of the elixir might involve career changes toward health coaching, nutrition counseling, or healthcare practice focused on women's hormonal health. Having walked the path themselves, these heroines bring unique empathy and understanding to their professional work, often becoming the mentors they wished they had found earlier in their own journeys. The elixir also manifests in how she approaches relationships and family life. She models healthy boundaries, self-advocacy, and proactive health management for her children, partners, and friends. Her transformation demonstrates that prioritizing self-care is not selfish but essential, giving others permission to attend to their own health needs. In her daily life, the heroine with the elixir becomes a living example of what's possible. Her energy, mental clarity, emotional stability, and overall vitality provide evidence to other women that hormonal health issues can be successfully addressed. She becomes proof that the journey through symptoms and treatment, while challenging, leads to a destination worth reaching. The elixir includes the deep understanding that health is not a destination but an ongoing practice. She continues to monitor her own well-being, adjust her self-care practices as needed, and seek support when challenges arise. This modeling of health as a dynamic, lifelong practice provides valuable guidance for others. Perhaps most importantly, the elixir she brings back is hope. In a world where women's health concerns are often minimized or dismissed, where hormonal symptoms are frequently attributed to psychological factors or normal aging, HerStory provides evidence that transformation is possible. She becomes a beacon of possibility for women still lost in the darkness of unexplained symptoms and inadequate care. Epilogue. The ongoing journey, the heroine's journey through hormonal chaos and back to balance. is not a story with a simple ending, but rather the beginning of a new chapter in her life. Having been transformed by her experience, she continues to evolve, learn, and grow. Understanding that optimal health is not a static state, but a dynamic process of ongoing attention and care. Years after her initial breakthrough, our heroine continues to refine her understanding of her body's needs. She's learned that hormonal health is influenced by seasons of life, stressful periods, aging, and countless other factors that require ongoing attention and adjustment. But now she approaches these changes as a skilled navigator rather than a lost traveler. The wisdom gained through her journey continues to deepen. She understands that her experience, while unique in its details, reflects universal themes of transformation, resilience, and the power of refusing to accept suboptimal health as inevitable. Her story becomes part of a larger narrative about women reclaiming agency over their bodies and their well-being. As our heroine moves forward in her life, she carries within her the knowledge that she has survived and thrived through one of life's most challenging journeys. She has faced the dragon of hormonal chaos and emerged victorious. Not through conquest, but through understanding. Not through force, but through patience and her journey stands as testament to the power of persistence, the importance of self-advocacy, and the possibility of transformation at any stage of life. She has become the hero of her own story, and in doing so, has lit the way for countless other women to begin their own journeys toward hormonal health and wholeness. The saga continues, not as a single story, but as a movement of women supporting women, sharing knowledge, providing hope, and refusing to accept that feeling awful is simply part of the female experience. Each woman who undertakes this journey adds her voice to a growing chorus of testimony that optimal health is possible, that transformation is available, and that every woman deserves to feel vibrant, energetic, and fully alive in her own body. This is the heroine's journey through hormonal chaos, a story of descent into darkness and emergence into light, of loss and recovery, of ordinary women discovering their extraordinary capacity for healing and transformation. It is a story that continues to be written by every woman who refuses to accept less than she deserves and embarks on the brave journey toward optimal health and authentic living. Asterisk, if you're enjoying this video, please make it reach more women by subscribing and liking. Take a look at the links in the description. There are always wonderful surprises for you. Bye-bye.